Benny was not just any 6-year-old boy. He was the kind of kid who believed that clouds might be cotton candy, that trees might whisper secrets if you listened close enough, and that every bubble he blew had the power to carry dreams. With his messy brown hair, bright eyes full of mischief, and his little beagle pup named Mimi always trotting behind him, Benny lived in a cozy house on the edge of town where adventures seemed just a thought away. One warm, breezy afternoon, while the sun painted golden streaks across the sky and butterflies danced through the air, Benny had an idea. Today, he declared confidently, "I will blow the biggest bubble the universe has ever seen." He gathered his supplies like a true scientist: dish soap, glitter, lemonade, a dash of honey, blue raspberry soda, and a pinch of cinnamon sugar from his kitchen. He poured them all into a huge plastic bowl and stirred with a wooden spoon until it shimmered like a swirling galaxy. Mimi barked once, wagging her tail in support. Benny dipped his wand, a giant loop made from coat hangers and tape, into the sparkling goop, took a deep breath, and blew. What emerged was no ordinary bubble. It grew rapidly, swirling with colors that changed like mood rings, pulsing with energy. Then, without warning, it lifted from the ground, grabbed Benny and Mimi in a swirl of light, and carried them high into the sky, past the treetops, above the birds, beyond the clouds, and into outer space. Benny squealed with excitement, holding Mimi tight as stars and planets zipped by. They passed flying space whales, glowing comets, and even waved to a floating astronaut who looked just as surprised as they were. After a long magical ride, the bubble gently lowered them onto a planet unlike any other bubble planet, a shimmering, elastic world where every surface wobbled and sparkled. The ground bounced like jelly, the trees looked like twisting soap towers, and instead of birds, tiny floating bubble creatures chirped and whistled through the sky. Everything was alive, cheerful, and full of fizz. There, they met Zuzu, a joyful alien made entirely of bubble gel who greeted them with a giggle and a high-pitched voice. Zuzu explained that Bubble Planet was powered by a magical heart called the Bubble Core, hidden deep underground. But something was wrong. The core was drying up, and the whole planet was beginning to lose its bounds. Without the Bubble Core, Bubble Planet would slowly fade and pop out of existence forever. Benny was shocked. "We have to save it," he said bravely. Zuzu agreed and led them to Mr. Pom-Pom, the wise and cranky king of Bubble Planet, who floated on a throne of giant soap bubbles. He told them the only thing that could restore the bubble core was the magical bubble leaf. Hidden deep inside the jungle of Burble, a place filled with strange creatures, sticky traps, and forgotten secrets. Guarding the leaf was the legendary Bubble Dragon, a creature said to sleep for centuries and wake only when the planet is truly in danger. Without hesitation, Benny, Mimi, and Zuzu set off on an epic adventure, traveling across floating islands, through bubble volcanoes, and across syrupy rivers on bubble boats. They solved puzzles from giggling frogs who spoke in rhymes, flew over bubble geysers using gliders made of bubble fabric, and even got caught in a storm of sticky cotton candy clouds that made everything smell sweet for hours. In the jungle, things got tricky. Vines tried to tickle them, bumblebees buzzed around asking riddles, and the paths kept shifting like slippery soap. Still, Benny encouraged his friends, saying, "Every adventure needs a challenge. That's what makes it exciting." Eventually, they reached the dark, echoing cave of the Bubble Dragon, who lay curled around the glowing bubble leaf, snoring softly. Mimi accidentally stepped on a squeaky rock, waking the enormous creature whose body was made of layered bubbles, each one glowing with memories of ancient adventures. The dragon roared not out of anger, but out of loneliness and boredom. It had waited centuries for someone brave enough to make it laugh. Benny, thinking fast, pulled out a feather he had found earlier and gently tickled the dragon's belly. With a loud, echoing chuckle, the dragon rolled over laughing, bursting dozens of joy bubbles into the air. Touched by Benny's kindness and cleverness, the dragon granted him the bubble leaf and gave them a bubble torch that would guide them back. They raced through collapsing tunnels and bursting trees, back to the bubble core, which was now flickering and dim. Benny dropped the bubble leaf inside, and the entire planet glowed to life, The sky turned into waves of rainbow light. The ground bounced again, and every creature cheered and sang songs of joy. Mr. Pom-Pom declared Benny the guardian of bubbles, and gifted him a shimmering bubble wand of return, promising that Benny would always be welcome. Zuzu hugged him tightly, and Mimi barked happily as they stepped into a goodbye bubble, floating back through space, past stars and moons, and gently landing in Benny's backyard just as the sun dipped below the hills. The bubble popped softly, leaving behind sparkles in the grass. Benny's mom called out, "Dinner time," as if nothing magical had happened, and Benny just smiled, hugging Mimi. He looked at the wand in his hand, its light gently pulsing, and whispered, "Just wait, Mimi, our next adventure is only a bubble away."